What is up, FBG fam? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Now, in today's video, I wanted to talk about a trend that I've been seeing with these 4 stars as of late that MiHoyo have been dropping. Now, this is definitely going to be excluding Thoma because Thoma is not in the same realm as these characters, but I'm speaking about Kujosara and Garu that's going to be coming in 2.3, and what I'm specifically talking about is how these characters are buffing their specific elements, but they're buffing it in a way that's locked behind Constellation 6, at least the most important part. So I did want to talk about that today, and really quickly as a disclaimer, not going to be going into detail about Garu's kit or revealing it, but if you want to see it for yourself, a link to the Discord will be in the description down below. You can join the Discord today and be able to see all of Garu's kit for yourself. But I do have on today my good friend Khameo to go ahead and discuss this with me, because I do want to get his opinions on what he thinks. Khameo, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for hopping on today. But we're going to be talking about these 4 stars as of late. And I've been seeing a bit of a trend, Khameo, with these 4 stars. And specifically their Constellation 6. So if we take a look at Kujosara and we take a look at her Constellation 6, the electro damage of characters who have had their attack increased by Tengu Jirai has its crit damage increased by 60%. This is an absolutely fantastic C6 and one that a lot of people were going for when they were going for Kujosara. Now, the rest of her constellations are great and her kit as a whole is fantastic, but I feel as if the majority of individuals that were pulling for Kujosara were trying to get this C6 because of how good and nutty it really is and how well it pairs with not only the electro element, but the 5-star she came along with, which was the Raiden Shogun. Now, when we saw Garu's kit and we saw his C6, we start to see a trend that's happening with these new 4 stars, at least as of late, once again excluding Thoma, and how good Garu's going to be with the Geo element specifically. And if he is on Arataki Ito's banner that's going to be coming in 2.3, then this is definitely something that I see happening more often with the other elements that are coming down the pipeline. And you also mentioned to me off camera that, or off video, that possibly Rosaria was the start of this trend with the C6 behind these 4 stars, because she does do the physical resistance shred by 20%. So she could have been the Fizz equivalent to what we're seeing with Kujosara and Garu for their respective elements. But I did want to get your thoughts on this, and I want to get your opinion on what you think about the best part of these 4-star supports for their specific elements being behind C6, and what you think about that specifically.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying to have the best part of their constellations locked so far down in the constellation tree. But it feels more like the 4-star characters that they're releasing now are being built specifically just to support either a specific character or a specific type. Like Sara being so beneficial to Raiden Shogun and not really much else at C6, and Goro being so beneficial to Geo just in general, and Rosario being so beneficial to physical. It'd definitely be nicer to have it further up, but at the same time, looking at it, it's just like that C6 is so good that I can understand why it's a C6.
Right. Yeah, and I do totally agree with you. See, that's where I'm kind of on the fence with this whole situation. I'm on the fence because, one, I do like the idea of a specific element having a dedicated supporter to that element. I think it helps that element, and I think it's a way for people to, if they're, let's say for example, an Electro main or a Geo main, be excited that they have a 4-star that buffs their team specifically, and they're able to do some, you know, wacky ideas like a full Electro team or a full Geo team, and it actually be maybe kind of viable in some situations, if not all. And, you know, they have something to look forward to. On the other hand, I'm not a huge fan of it because, one, it is locked behind the C6, and if you guys know me, I didn't get my Kujosara until I C6 the Raiden Shogun, and happened around the same time. Now, I do have terrible luck with 4 stars in particular. I had the same terrible luck with Rosaria. So you guys might not be in the same situation. By the way, I also want to get your guys' opinion about all of this down in the comments below as well. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about these 4 stars that have been coming out recently. Once again, excluding Thoma, where their C6 is ridiculous, but they're benefiting specific elements. But anyways, so I have a slight issue with it being behind C6, but I do see where you're coming from, Khameo, where the C6 is so good that it makes sense that it's behind C6 and not like C1 or C2. But the other thing that I kind of don't like is that they're not as versatile. Now, maybe that's a good thing, because if the C6, let's say for example for Kujo-Sara, wasn't just for electro damage, but it was just for team members increasing their crit damage by 60%, that would be kind of nutty, right? And it would be pretty ridiculous as, you know, for a whole team, for your allies. So I do see that, but it doesn't seem as if they're as versatile. So if you're not running Kujo-Sara alongside another electro character, then I wouldn't say she's useless, because she's still good within her kit and what she's doing, but you just won't use her as often as, let's say for example, a Thoma or a Bennett or a Xingqiu that are a little more versatile. They're a little more universal, a little more flexible in different team comps. And the same could be said for Garu. You know, if you're not going to be using Garu in a with another Geo character, then there's not too many benefits to Garu. So it really makes them, I guess, niche and exclusive to that element. And I don't know how much I like that. Now, for example, let's say you're a Garu main or a Kujo-Sara main and that's your character. Obviously, you're going to be using them no matter what, so it doesn't really pertain to you guys. But for people that are looking for another 4-star support, when it comes to these specific element type of 4-star support characters, it's going to be hard to run them outside of their specific element because of that reason. So that's where I'm just kind of on the fence about it. Now, with them being 4 stars, obviously they're going to be coming back around more often on banners, so you're going to have more opportunities to get them and get them C6. But it's definitely one of those situations to where if they're coming alongside said 5-star, like for example Kujo-Sara with the Raiden Shogun, you're going to want to C6 them day one. And that's just a thing. I know how people operate. They want to have that C6 to run alongside that you know, shiny new 5-star that they just got, to be able to output the most damage and to be able to show off those numbers, right? So if Arataki Ito, if Garu's going to be alongside him in his banner, a lot of people are going to want to try and C6 Garu right off the bat. And I see this just as another way that MiHoyo, I think, saw it as well, as another way that they can further monetize certain banners and make it a little more enticing to pull maybe a little bit further than you were intending to, because you want to now C6 that 4-star and maybe grab a copy or two of that new 5-star. What do you think about that, Khameo?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case, because if you look at Rosaria was on the child banner, right? And her C6 is definitely good for her, because you should be playing her physical. But since it's on a banner for a character that you probably wouldn't want to summon for multiple times, it kind of deters you from wanting to keep going to try and get more constellations.
Right.
By putting Kujo-Sara on the Raiden banner, now it's like, okay, well, even if I end up getting another 5-star, it could be the Raiden Shogun, which is also beneficial for me. So it's a plus in that kind of situation. So it makes me want to keep going.
Right.
To get that C6 on Kujo-Sara.
Right, because what happens is, and once again, I think MiHoyo knew this and saw this, and now is thinking this is what they can do moving forward. Because when you have such a great support like Kujo-Sara for a specific element like Electro, and then you have such a hype character like the Raiden Shogun alongside said support character that's great for that element, it just makes that banner a win-win. It's a huge W, and you see that banner as very valuable and worth the investment, which it is. It is. But it's gonna have you want to pull more and probably use more Primos and Intertwine Phase than you were probably intending to, because not only could you now get some more Kujo-Saras, get closer to the C6, but along the way, you could be picking up more cons on the Raiden Shogun. And the same if Garu's on Arataki Ito's banner, it's going to be a massive W, and you're going to see that as a win-win and a great investment because you're picking up, you know, a character, a 5-star that you really like, and possibly some cons along the way of trying to get Garu and some cons on him to get to C6. So it's a smart move, to say the least. It's a very smart move, and I see the reasons why they're doing this. And once again, I'm just kind of on the fence. I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. I'm kind of like indifferent about it, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, like I mentioned, these 4-stars do come back more often. So it's not as if you don't have to try and C6 them day one. You can wait until they come back around, but it's very tempting and it's very enticing. And I can see them doing this for said elements moving forward. So a dedicated support 4-star for Pyro with a very hype Pyro character come down the line, like a Pyro Archon or something of that nature. Same for Cryo and Hydro and etc. So I just see this as a thing that MiHoyo is going to be doing moving forward. Do you see this as something that they'll be doing for other elements as well, now that they're doing it for Electro and for Geo? And for the physical, I guess if we're using physical as an element, physical as well.
Yeah, I think it's something we could definitely see going forward. I feel like it's also possible that it was just for these 3 because, you know, Electro, Geo, and Physical have been on the lower end of damage output compared to the others. So it could be a way of, you know, just trying to buff these characters or buff that type. But if they do it for other characters, I wouldn't be opposed to it, honestly.
Right. I wouldn't be opposed to it, and I think it would just be kind of the right thing to do. Now, you are correct, and that's something that I forgot to mention, is that, you know, with Electro and Geo, these are elements, Electro especially, that was needing a buff, and I felt as if Kujosara was a way to put a band-aid over a wound that the community has been voicing, and to try and help the Electro element. But now that they're doing it for Geo, which I can see the reason why they're doing it for Geo as well, because they don't have any elemental reactions to help boost them. But I tell you what, with Garu coming out and Arataki Ito coming out, the Geo element, having a full Geo team, I mentioned this in my last video, is looking to be not only viable, but actually something that you may want to actually run, and it be a good team comp to run in game because of how crazy it's going to be with these Geo characters. But I think it would be the right thing to do with the other elements as well. Have a dedicated, you know, 4-star support for those as well. But we just may not see them maybe till a little later down the road, which, you know, that would be perfectly fine. But anyways, guys, just some thoughts, just something that I was thinking, and once again wanted to get Khameo's opinion on. But once again, I also want to get your opinion, so let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Let me know your opinions down below as well. Also, if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and drop a like, sub if you're new, it helps out the channel tremendously. And if you're looking for some supplements that can give you some energy, if you're looking for some spicy waifu cups or some spicy waifu merch, go ahead and click the link in the description down below. It is a link to Gamer Subs, the sponsor of the channel, and it helps out the channel to grow, do bigger and better things, and it gives you 10% off everything in the store. So it just directly supports myself and the channel, and thank you guys so much for all of that support. And gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody and Khameo, and we'll see you both next time. Bye, guys.